Are limits on immigration fundamentally racist, or are limits on immigration a necessary and natural part of ensuring the continued prosperity and safety of a country? Well, let's look at this. Now, first off, the big thing that the people on the left are getting confused about is that there is a very big difference between race, culture, and belief systems, religions. A religion is not a race. A religion is something you choose to believe or you're forced to believe. A culture is something that still is essentially a belief system, and it still is something that a measure of choice is involved in. Now, race is something that there is no choice. So let's look at this. Is it racist to say that a belief system is dangerous? Analyze it for a second. Think. If you think, you need to understand a basic concept. Beliefs lead to actions. Actions lead to consequences. You can choose your beliefs. You can choose your actions. You cannot choose your consequences. Of individuals, communities, and nations, the inability to pick your actions wisely to ensure that you have the best possible consequences will lead to suffering. It leads to destruction of the individual, of the community, and of the nation. And sometimes that takes a long time. Now, understand that it is not something where you can simply just say that everyone's beliefs need to be respected. You cannot say that. If you say a belief needs to be respected, well, how and why? Because respect comes from actions that lead to good consequences, to positive outcomes. And not every action does. Look objectively at lots of the actions in countries with lots of violence, with lots of crimes against humanity, where freedoms are taken away from people. Those actions come from belief systems. Those belief systems are choices that people make there. They are not a race. They do often come from culture, but culture is also a set of beliefs and practices that are shared by people in a general area. Now, let's look at this in another way. Immigration. In order for that to be fair, it's like a business proposal. It must be beneficial to the country, and it must be beneficial to the individual immigrating if it's going to be fair. If it's not beneficial to either one, then things tend to happen. And so let's look at this. If, as a resident of the United States, as a citizen of the United States, if I were to immigrate to England or to anywhere in the British Isles, if I were to say, I'm American and I don't really respect your country and I don't respect your rules and I don't respect your culture and I'm going to do anything that I want to, well, is that going to be something where it's benefiting both me and England? It's not. There is a balance there. When you are choosing to come to a country, any country, you understand that it has a history. It has sets of ethics, sets of morals. It has belief systems and actions that it expects of its individuals. If I'm going to that country, hey, I may not want to give up everything in my culture, but I do certainly need to make sure that my beliefs, my actions, my respect for the country I'm going to is there so that I'm a productive member of the civilization, that I may not give up all of my my beliefs and my cultures, but I certainly am going to make sure that whatever I believe and whatever I do fits right in. Otherwise, it doesn't benefit me or the country. Now, there's a thing here where people say, hey, it's not fair that people in some countries are born to poverty, born with no hope, born with no way out. In other countries, they're born to great opportunity. And it isn't fair. It isn't fair. And this right here is at the heart of people saying every belief system needs to be respected, every religion needs to be respected, every culture needs to be respected, every people need to be respected, these poor individuals. And I understand they're poor individuals, but you need to understand what led to that difference in wealth, difference in opportunity, difference in, for the highest level of people in the world. They'd like to say that that's talent and achievement. I'd say, bull, they're just more violent and more good at being violent, and they take things. The people at the top level of society are criminals for the most part. But if you look at it on average, person by person, in each country, what leads to prosperity in a sustained way, long term, is how productive and stable the civilization is. Sorry it's shaky. My body doesn't always behave like it should. But the point is, it is not just circumstances that lead to this. Over the long term, there's unfair things that happen. War happens. But over the long term, how productive and how stable the people are, that leads to the overall success of the country most of the time. And when you are taking a country with people in poverty, some of them may be innocent and some of them may be a really good fit. But in every case, you need to stop and they need to understand that this set of beliefs, this set of values, this work ethic, this is what led to the success of this country. It has values, it has history, it has a culture. And you don't have to give up everything of your culture to go into a country, but you need to make sure that if you are from a country where a lot of things are done wrong, well, take the opportunity from people that know. Instead of going in and looking down at the people in the country you're going to, look at the success that the country has had and ask why. Not just, oh, that they're robbers and they've just stolen. That, of course, there's those elements. But there's a stability, there's knowledge base, and there's values that worked for them. And you need to learn a lot of those lessons. Take the valuable lessons that you've had from your country, take the valuable lessons that from the new country, and be a benefit for the new country that you're moving to. This is fair immigration. But coming in expecting to bring the war zone with you is a recipe for disaster. And it's something that is exactly why immigration needs to be managed. It is not a racist thing. If you cannot have a people coming into your country that respect the rules, that respect the laws, they respect the ingredients, what made the country good, made it worth immigrating to, you're going to get disaster. You're going to get the things that brought failure to the other country, you're going to bring it to the country you're going to. And that's just how it is. Not all belief systems need to be respected. And in fact, if you look at Islam, look at the effects that it has. Look at the lives that are ended, the women that are burnt because they didn't want to believe, the people that were stoned. Look at the violence and the horrors that happen in those countries in which they're the majority, and then say, do you want these people coming in?